All right, our first step is going to be to make a list about what you really like, what makes you you. So here's my list. Of course, art is on there. And then the next step is going to be to get a ruler, and you are going to divide your page into as many spaces as you have things that define you. Now, my list was 8, and I think I end up dividing it into about 6. So, that's a choice that you guys are going to make on your own. Next, I begin adding the ocean because this is part of my number one thing that I love, and that is the beach. So I'm adding stylized waves here. You are absolutely allowed to look up references. So there's very famous waves. I'm kind of just creating mine from my head and making them look a little bit more designed and more like a graphic. I am adding some shading in the background, but you guys can be as creative as you'd like. I now move on to another item on my list, which is ice cream. Now, everybody has their own favorite foods. Desserts have become actually a big deal in my house pretty much since the pandemic hit, and now we're all about 2 times our size. But in any case, ice cream brings a lot of joy to me, so I'm adding that to my self-portrait. Next, an obvious interest in my life because it is part of who I am, being that I'm an art teacher, but art is one of the most important parts of me. So it helps me express myself. So here I'm going to choose some art tools that I use, like pencils, paintbrushes, a palette, erasers, just things to represent the fine arts and the things that I get to do to be creative. Now I decide to darken up the lines dividing each of these little facets of me or characteristics because I think I need a little bit more division as we move on. And I'm adding a stylized sun to my ocean scene. As I look at this piece as a whole, I start, wanting to create and develop and define each one a little bit more. And you guys can do that too for all of the things that make you, you. Now I'm adding music notes to show my love for music. I do not create music. I don't sing, but I love to listen to music, which is part of the dancing part too. It's another form of expression for me and it's calming. So I decided to represent music with music notes, and then I wrote, "Please don't stop the music." Might be an old song for you guys, but I do love Rihanna. And now I'm moving on to another side of my personality, which was kind of brought out by my husband, but I do love nature. We do a lot of hiking in my family, so I'm adding some symbols for that. So trees, flowers, insects, which maybe aren't my favorite part of nature, but all things to represent that natural side that I do love to dive into. Now, as I was creating this, my daughter was watching me and she said, "What about family?" And I thought, oh yeah, that's one thing I really forgot to include. So a way I chose to represent family is by including my last name, which obviously is part of what created, my family. I took my husband's name and we created 2 daughters together. And so that is my immediate family. But, of course, my family, like my mom, my dad, and I have a sister and brother and all of the extended family too. So I'm just kind of representing that with my last name, which you guys could also add. And then I also put on my list that I love where I live. I'm very proud to be a New Yorker. I'm sure some of you guys are too, although New York's took a lot of heat lately. I do love living on Long Island, which is where I live in New York. And so I'm drawing the shape of Long Island and I just wrote, "I love." Now, last but not least, this is done in pencil, but you may want to add color. And if you do, I think you should add limited color. So I had put that my favorite color was blue. So I decided to add blue to my composition. I also do have blue eyes, so that wasn't a lie. That was still truthful. It's part of who I am. So you could do that. And I'm just adding little bits of blue to each one of these little sketches that makes up my self-portrait. We will be looking further and studying symbolism in class, but I hope you guys enjoyed this project and I can't wait to see what you come up with.